Call it a nightmare. The Social Security Administration declared her daughter dead and refused to bring her back to life. That's a damn shame. Is Sheriff Glenn Smith of Waller County on borrowed time as a top cop in the county? A growing number of people want him out. Remembering the veterinarian who took her own life with the Friday night vigil, we'll have a live report. There's a congressman who thinks he can take Senator Ted Cruz's job. It's a hot topic on the table. Plus, it's Fresh Factor Friday night, and we have a live performance by Alias, aka Mr. Whatever. And DJ Paul comes aboard the Factor party bus. Buckle up, we're about to take a wild ride on the Factor Uncensored. This is the Factor Uncensored. And welcome to the Isiah Factor Uncensored. We're live here at MUSGROVE in the Galleria area, and we have a great show planned for you. We have the president of the National Urban League, Mark Morial, here with us. We also have that city council member this week who was called Boy. But first, we're going to begin with Lindsay Henry, who has a live report on a story that's played out like a soap opera here in the city of Houston. A veterinarian and murder for hire. Those are some of the factors in that story. We go live now to Lindsay Henry with a vigil for that doctor here in the community. Lindsay?
Isiah, we're across the street from where the vigil took place this evening, right across Montrose, where you can see the clinic right over my shoulder. That vigil was held for Valerie McDaniel. Now, last week, McDaniel was released on a $50,000 bond for allegedly soliciting hire for capital murder. Flowers, candles, cards, and pictures lay outside the doors of Montrose Veterinary Clinic, outside the same doors Valerie McDaniel walked through for more than 18 years, taking care of pets and their owners.
We've had people sending us food all week, flowers, cookies, notes, phone calls, people just stopping by to give us hugs. I think the hardest thing has been when our clients have kind of come back in for the first time since Monday, and they just need a hug, you know?
15 years ago, McDaniel hired Dr. Catherine Powell right out of school. She, along with many others, say they were shocked to hear what happened.
It was a shock to everyone. It's just not anything of her nature. And I think that the people that knew her knew that, and I think that's why we have so much support.
Rachel Clements showed up to the vigil with 3 of her Yorkies to show support for the family.
We're just heartsick, heartbroken for them, and hope that they know that we're thinking about them.
Last week, McDaniel committed suicide while out on a $50,000 bond. Valerie McDaniel and her boyfriend, Leon Philip Jacob, were arrested earlier this month for both allegedly trying to hire a hitman with the intent to kill her ex-husband and his ex-girlfriend. The person they thought was a hitman was in fact an undercover officer. Powell says the clinic will continue to remain open and that those there are still grieving the loss of someone they were very close to.
We just want people to know what an amazing woman she is and how many people she impacted over her time, not only as a veterinarian, but as a friend, as a mother, as a mentor. She helped a lot of people out.
Now, Jacob is being held without bond because of previous stalking charges. We're told by his lawyer that he asked to actually attend McDaniel's funeral, but he was denied that request. Live on Montrose, Lindsay Henry, Fox 26 News.
All right, thanks a lot, Lindsay Henry. We will continue to follow this story. Now, a very important guest joins us live here on The Factor Uncensored, Mark Morial, who's the president of the National Urban League, former mayor of New Orleans, former state senator in Louisiana. That's when I met you, when you came to Baton Rouge a long time ago, back in the 90s.
In the last century.
Exactly. So you're here with the National Urban League.
Yeah.
You have several events this weekend. You're working with a local organization. So tell us why you're here in Houston.
Thanks for having me. We've got a great affiliate here, the Houston Area Urban League, led by Judson Robinson. We spent some time this evening. They are planning for their 50th anniversary in 2018. So with Judson and the board, we spent some time learning about those plans, but also talking about some of the very good work that they do. Their job training, their work with young people, their efforts to help people become home buyers. They're just a first-class operation here in the city of Houston. Then tomorrow morning, I'll be over at Brentwood Baptist Church as the guest speaker at their men's event. I'm looking forward to that because Brentwood, of course, is one powerful institution.
Yes,
and
it is.
also an influential institution. So it's a prestigious, if you will, invitation to speak to their congregation and their guests in connection with the challenges really that men of color face in America today. So I look forward to that. And then of course with the board and tomorrow, we'll talk about the challenges we're facing as a nation. We've got a new administration. Our commitment as the Urban League is to protect our progress, to resist the rollback, and I'm deeply concerned about some of the proposed budget cuts that have been suggested by the new administration.
Particularly when we look at HUD and housing and the African American community, what are your concerns?
They would devastate us. It would put people out of work. They would push people to the homeless ranks. They will make it more difficult to build affordable housing. It'll damage young people. The cutbacks on job training programs, Meals on Wheels, a National Endowment for the Arts, community action agencies. There's a long string. These cuts are job killers, and they're also dream killers because this work that's done with the support of these agencies helps people become economically independent, helps people climb out of poverty. So we're going to be working hard to get Congress to reject, if you will, that budget and write a new budget and write a better budget that preserves those investments.
Now, one of the positives from the Trump administration that you and your organization were looking for was infrastructure and $1 trillion, and that would be jobs.
We believe that a $1 trillion infrastructure initiative that the president has talked about, if done right, if it is put together with a job training component, with a component where there are public investments in facilities and transportation projects in urban communities and suburban communities and rural communities equally, then it could be an important victory for the nation. That's the best area of opportunity. I would hope that the president would prioritize that and put that at the top of his agenda in 2017.
Mr. Morea, in the last 30 seconds, tell us the difference we know about the NAACP, but people are not quite clear on the purpose of the National Urban League.
Both the National Urban League and the NAACP and the National Action Network and many others are bound together by mission, but we're almost like the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
Different jobs.
We fulfill the very same mission for civil rights and economic opportunity, but we're a direct services provider. So what we do is we provide services to people in communities across the nation, after-school services, workforce and job training services, home buyer education. Our entrepreneurship centers serve 10,000 small businesses each and every year. That's a unique role that the Urban League plays that no other civil rights organization plays in America today. And we're also an advocate, but our direct services component is not only unique, it's also, we think, the best.
Mark Morea, thank you for coming on the Isiah Factor Uncensored. Brentwood Church tomorrow. We leave you with DJ Paul, who's just joined us here on the Factor Uncensored. And welcome back to the Isiah Factor Uncensored. We're here live in the Galleria area with DJ Paul, who's scratching on the wheels of steel. Now, this week, we saw a very controversial story. It came to us out of the city of Pasadena, where the mayor there, Johnny Isbell, called his fellow council member, a colleague, a boy. Take a look.
I don't have to speak yet.
Well, you better speak up, boy.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Excuse you?
Yeah, that's a little.
Excuse you?
No, that's very offensive. I'm a council member of the city. Don't call me boy.
Act like it.
Because I'm trying to speak on an ordinance.
In timely manner.
I barely had the opportunity to speak.
Talk. Now's your
Don't talk to me like that again.
Oh, well, that's almost.
Don't call me boy.
Sounds like a threat.
You calling me boy is very disrespectful.
Man.
I'm not threatening you.
You got about 1 minute to get to talking.
All right, and joining us now is that Pasadena City Council member. You Look, you you showed great restraint, because I think I would have whooped his ass right there at that point.
Yeah.
Now,
well, that wouldn't have benefited anyone. And
Cody Ray Wheeler, it would have benefited me. I would have felt better about it.
Yeah.
But you showed great restraint.
Yes, sir.
And you confronted him, you challenged him,
right.
And he has given a statement basically saying it was sports jargon. He
right.
meant nothing racial about it whatsoever. And your thoughts? Do you believe him? Because I don't.
Well, I would like to believe
him. This is a factor uncensored. You can say what you want.
No, I hope that he is being honest. Unfortunately, with a lot of the issues that we've been dealing with in Pasadena, the mayor has pushed through a voting plan that's now been shot down by 4 federal judges as discriminatory. The communication.
Now, who would this plan have discriminated against in Pasadena?
Against Hispanics in North Pasadena. And the 4 federal judges now have come through and said that. Also, the communications director of the city was caught withholding information from Hispanics in the city. And so when you put in context what the mayor's done, what his administration has done, I'm not in a position to give him the benefit of the doubt, what he meant by that comment. But I know I wasn't going to take it. Nobody deserves to be talked like that. Man to man, you don't talk like that. But as the mayor of a city in a powerful position, you should not use that position to belittle anyone, especially your colleagues. And I knew how to take a stand on that issue and call a spade a spade.
Now, in a statement that he released to the news media, he said he apologized.
Right.
Has he called you man to man and apologized for what he said so publicly to you?
No, he's not reached out to me personally. He hasn't gave me a phone call.
And he knows your number.
He knows my number. He knows how to get a hold of me. Our offices down the hall from one another. But that's not the type of person he is. I think he's sorry that he got caught. He's sorry that it slipped out. But I do believe that there's a strong possibility that's really the way he felt, and something slipped out from inside of him that he didn't want to be caught about.
With that type of agenda that you laid out that he has, and what he said to you, do you think he's fit to be in office?
No, and he has 3 meetings left. He's term limited. He's no longer going to be running the city. And we do have elections coming up May 6th in Pasadena. And we are going to have new leadership in that city. And I think it's going to be a breath of fresh air. I think it's going to be an opportunity for a new council and our new mayor to work together to get Pasadena on track and get that good old boy network and good old boy mentality from our city government.
What kind of public reaction have you received from around the country and right here in Houston, because it went viral?
Right. Well, I mean, most importantly, I represent District E in Pasadena. It's right in the center of the city. And I've received a lot of support from my constituents, and that means a lot more than anything. But around the city, just emails pouring in every day, a lot of support, phone calls, and I think that what this is, it's indicative of a bigger issue, maybe an issue with a generational gap or a political gap, where I think the new wave of politics is, if we're going to expect respect from our government, we're going to expect transparency from our government. I think that's what this is about.
Pasadena City Councilman Cody Ray Wheeler. Next time, whoop that ass. Thank you for coming on the Factor Uncensored. We'll be back with more Factor Uncensored. And we want to remind you, a tragic story right here in Houston dealing with the Social Security Administration. We leave you with DJ Paul. And welcome back to the Isiah Factor Uncensored. We're here live at the Galleria, where we're having a great time tonight, but a more serious story involving Kimberly Hamilton, who's here, and her children. Now, Randy Wallace covered that story. Randy Wallace, tell us a little bit about that story where you helped Kimberly Hamilton and her family.
Isiah, it was one of those situations, and I know it's happened to you too, where you hear someone's problem and you kind of forget about the story aspect of it and you just want to get it corrected.
Yes.
Well, before I even went to interview Ms. Hamilton, I contacted the Social Security office, and once they started taking a look into it, they got back with me right away, and they said that what happened to her was inexcusable, and a grieving mother should not have to have gone through what she went through.
It is crazy. Let's see your report real quick.
It's hard enough to get one kid like that, but when you get 3, that's heavy on your heart.
The symptoms of the rare genetic disease passed on to them by their father started to show in 3 of Kimberly Hamilton's children when they each reached the age of 12.
They were walking and they went from wheelchairs to the bed on the ventilator.
Hey,
Mama Pooh.
Last December, Danny Hamilton Jr. died from the rare disease. He was 26. But when Hamilton reported his death to Social Security, they also stopped 27-year-old Danielle's benefits, even though she's alive.
I could not be here insane if I'd have lost 2 children the same date in the same month.
First, Hamilton says she was told to bring a letter from Danielle's doctor confirming she's still alive. Hamilton did that, but says she was told that wasn't good enough. The still grieving mother had to physically bring Danielle to the Social Security office. Even though her daughter was on a ventilator, oxygen, and accompanied by paramedics, Hamilton says she was told to take a number and wait like everybody else.
You physically take her there, and then they look at you and say, well, you got an ID, we don't know that's really her. I mean, that's basically what they said to you, right?
Yes, sir. That's what they said. That's what she said to me. She said, we don't know if it's even her. She don't have an ID.
What do you think about that?
I think it's horrible. I wouldn't dare get another kid, a vet kid, and bring in the Social Security office and pass her on as mine.
All right, and Kimberly Hamilton joins us now live here. I want to apologize to you for the idiots that you had to deal with at the Social Security Administration when they saw you were there with your daughter. And she was alive, and they still wanted more proof. And it's unfortunate that it took a television station to come in and correct the problem. It's a bureaucratic red tape that we see, Randy, that's so unacceptable in this case. And who will it happen to next? You were able to get it solved. Tell us about that.
Well, and like you said, Isaiah, it shouldn't take a TV reporter call, and this should have never happened. But once they started looking at it, they didn't even try to justify anything. Now, of course, there are situations where if someone claims they're alive, they want to see the person. They want to see the person.
She brought her child
exactly
on a stretcher in an ambulance.
But the spokeswoman from Dallas told me that in this situation, that should have never happened. There are situations like Miss Hamilton's where it's not possible or easy to bring the person into the office. Someone from Social Security could have gone to her house to see Danielle.
Let's bring Kimberly in. When you realized what was going on with you, and they said your child was dead, even though your child was there at home with you, alive, what were your thoughts as a mother?
Devastated. I mean, I was like...
And if you could speak up a little bit for us.
A little devastated. I was like, you know, I mean, come on. She's at home. She's alive. Maybe they had it confused with my son, because I had a son that passed. But she told me no, Danielle. And I ran like a Hebrew slave, go and get paperwork. And still, the paperwork wasn't sufficient enough. So it's like, the only other choice I had was to load her up in the ambulance and bring her to the Social Security Board. And at that time, I told the guy, the ambulance was behind me because I drove myself to the Social Security Board. I told him I got a paramedic coming with my daughter. And he was like, really? Well, stand in line. So I had to stand in line, and then when the paramedics came, they brought us in, we still had to pull a number and wait on them to come out.
That's ridiculous.
It's very ridiculous.
So you got a call, you were getting calls while Randy was at your house interviewing you. Trying to resolve it, because it's ridiculous.
They were apologizing to her, and I don't know if she mentioned this or not, but they didn't even notify her. She found out because you were waiting for some medication or something, right? It was like she just found out on her own. Social Security never contacted her and said, oh, by the way, you know, we've cut off Danielle's benefits. They never even alerted her to that.
That's ridiculous. Well, Randy Wallace, great job in getting this resolved. And Kimberly Hamilton, I'm thankful that you have your benefits back now. And shame on you at the Social Security office. That is it for the Isiah Factor Uncensored. This segment will be back. We leave you with DJ Paul. Stay with us. More of the great show to come.
The forecast over the weekend really depends on two very important things. The first thing is going to be this giant area of low pressure that is spinning in the Rocky Mountains, and as it heads out into the plains. It's kind of very similar to what we had earlier in the week. Now, the other part about this is there's some dry air out here, which again, so we're looking at the water vapor imagery. And in this case, when you see that orange, that is extremely dry air. Well, if that dry air is in place, as that area of low pressure comes on into Texas, we probably won't see as much severe weather as we would expect. But right now, the computer models are really not agreeing on that. So we're going to just have to watch closely to see how that changes. So here's how the forecast then kind of changes. Saturday is going to be pretty good as we head on into Saturday, but then Sunday is going to be that chance for rain. In fact, an 80% chance for showers and storms, and then we'll see good weather as we head on in at least to the middle of the coming week, where we'll see a few more showers on Wednesday.
All right, thanks a lot, Dr. Jim. Welcome back to the Isiah Factor Uncensored. And the message is clear in Waller County to the Sheriff Glenn Smith. They want his ass out. People have asked for his resignation, and so far he remains in office. We reached out to him at Fox 26 as well. Joining us now is Hannah Bonner and Joshua Muhammad, those who have been active in the community in Waller County since the death of Sandra Bland. Now, I assume, Hannah, that this is good news that people, county commissioners, along with other officials in Waller County, have asked the Sheriff Glenn Smith to resign. Now, most recently, there was a sexual assault on his watch in the jail. This follows the Sandra Bland case. Take over.
Absolutely. You know, it has been just scandal after scandal since the death of Sandra Bland. You know, an arsenal of guns stolen from the sheriff's truck, repeated accusations of sexual assault, a man who was found in his cell unresponsive. And so it has just been building and building, and we can only assume that these things were happening before the death of Sandra Bland as well. So this is good news, because the people of Waller County deserve better. They deserve to know that they are safe. And especially when they have a situation where they could be brought into custody without even having committed a crime like Sandra Bland was.
Now, Joshua Muhammad, you all held a press conference today. What message did you want to convey to the community and to the sheriff there?
Is that not only do we want the sheriff removed, but also the DA and the judge who would call for him, because over history, they've been in cohorts together. And it's a whole system of corruption, incompetence, and negligence in Waller County. So removing the heads just to start, but honestly, you want a whole overhaul of the Waller County justice system that produced the Sandra Bland, that produced this sexual assault case, that produced the guns. It's the whole thing from top to bottom, but we'll start with those three.
Hannah, what do you see as a systemic problem in Waller County that's at the root of the issue of all the problems that we've seen in that community?
Absolutely. I think that these men prioritize protecting one another, and so it's definitely a very strong good old boy system there. And so when you see people who are vulnerable, they prioritize protecting one another's careers over protecting the people of the county. And so they keep giving this sheriff chance after chance after chance. And even today we saw the DA going back on his original request for resignation and saying, oh, you know, I'm not going to ask for him to resign anymore, because they're still protecting one another. And so this prioritization of one another's careers over the citizens has to stop, and this whole system has to go.
Are your voices loud enough in the last minute that we have in order to spark a change in Waller County?
Even if our voices are not loud enough, our actions will. So we're not going to depend on them to whether they resign or not, but we're going to do the work that's necessary to get justice or else.
Okay. So what's next for you guys? You had the press conference today. What's physically next, your move in Waller County?
Well, we expect some big news to come out next week. This is not over. The County Commissioner's Court is still very strong in their demands that he resign.
Well, give us a tip. Give us a hint.
I can't give you a tip I don't have, but I know that I fully expect that more will come out. The sheriff himself said in an interview this week that that they had implied that he had stolen the guns himself from his truck. And so, you know, he said that in an interview earlier, so that's the tip I'll give you from the sheriff himself.
All right. Thank you guys for coming on the Isiah Factor Uncensored, and we will continue to watch this case and the developments. We'll be back with more Isiah Factor Uncensored with the latest on politics. We leave you with DJ Paul here live at Boudreaux's.
I was gone for a minute. Now I'm back. Let me get it. I was gone for a minute. Now.
And welcome back to the Isiah Factor Uncensored. We got DJ Paul in the mix here at Boudreaux's with people dancing at the show. Now, here's a segment that you love, Crazy Ass Criminals. Take a look. It's that time for crazy-ass criminals. So let's take a look at 23-year-old Alabama resident Jesse Roberts. His eyes look kind of glossy, right? He was arrested for public intoxication after police got a call about a prowler in a local neighborhood. While investigators were booking Roberts in the jail, they thought maybe he'd, pooped in his boxers. But as deputies got closer, they noticed it wasn't poop weighing Roberts' underwear down, but a damn Jimenez .380 caliber pistol that he apparently stuffed up his butt. Now, this genius is charged with public intoxication, promoting prison contraband, and carrying a concealed weapon without a permit in his butt. By the way, that gun was stolen, but would you as the owner ever want it back after it's been jammed where the sun doesn't shine? I think not. Let's go on up to our nation's capital, where sometimes it may be a last-minute decision to cover your face after you've entered the place you plan to actually rob. That's where this crazy-ass criminal comes in. We still don't know his name, but damn, we sure do know what he looks like. Police say this idiot walked into a 7-Eleven convenience store to rob it, but the PhD candidate, not quite, didn't put on his mask until after he walked in and nicely posed for the camera. Oh wait, let me put the mask on now. They'll never know it was me. Really? Help the cops find this moron. And finally on Crazy Ass Criminals, this dude here. He was just in love, and he wanted to express it with a marriage proposal to his girlfriend Michelle. But 23-year-old Kyle Stump's dumbass decided to ask his girlfriend to marry him by committing a crime. Instead of having it displayed on a scoreboard at a sporting event like most people, this whippet poof took a can of red spray paint and wrote it on a building. Earth to Kyle. We call that criminal mischief. He was charged with that. By the way, if you're wondering, Michelle did say yes. That's it for Crazy Ass Criminals. We'll have more next week. It is a segment you asked for here on the Isiah Factor Uncensored, and we will be back with more Isiah Factor Uncensored when we talk politics, sports, and much more in a live performance from Alias Music coming your way. We leave you with DJ Paul. DJ Paul here live with us at the Gallery of Boudreaux's Isiah Factor Uncensored. Now it's time to get very censored with Mark Berman, who's live in the newsroom with the latest in sports. Mark?
Okay, Isiah, the Astros wrapped up spring training with a 6-3 loss to the Cubs at Minute Maid Park, but that's not even a blip on their radar. What mattered to the Astros was the performance of starter Joe Musgrove, working 4 innings of shutout ball, giving up just 3 hits with 1 walk and 4 strikeouts against the defending world champs. Musgrove is on a Major League opening day roster for the first time in his career.
Oh, extremely excited, really excited to share with my parents and hopefully have them out here for the series.
So has it all hit you? You have your arms around it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure when we step on the line for that anthem on opening day, it'll really sink in, but I couldn't be happier to be here.
Meanwhile, the ace of the Astros staff, Dallas Keuchel, makes some Astros history Monday when he becomes the first lefty in franchise history to have 3 opening day starts on the mound.
It is interesting. I guess that just only means that there hasn't been many lefties. But I mean, it's nice, and I'm extremely honored each and every time I've been told to start opening day.
Josh Reddick, one of the Astros' newest weapons, reminded the Houston media yesterday he is just a kid at heart. Reddick wants to get to know Houston and went public with his interest in finding the closest Dave & Buster's, and he likes to eat at Arby's. Both companies responded to him on Twitter.
I'm actually looking at houses out here, so I'm trying to finish that up. Once that gets handled, I think it'll be a whole lot easier for me to settle in. But right now, it's just about finding hot spots for me. Where's the nearest Dave & Buster's? Where's an Arby's? I love Arby's. Love Dave & Buster's. I'm a kid at heart. Yeah, I mean, they tweeted out that they have 2 locations here. So they sent both the, I believe, street addresses, not the actual number, but where they're located in the city. So may have to check them out this weekend before the season starts. And even Arby's jumped in on the tweeting train, so that was pretty cool.
They tweeted at you?
Yeah, I think Dave & Buster's actually responded to your tweet with my link in it, and then I think Arby's just did a standard tweet.
Well, I think you should work out some kind of a deal with these guys.
We need to work out a commercial or something now. Get unlimited cards for games or something like that.
or something like that. South Korea's Sung Kang showed no mercy to the golf course at the Golf Club of Houston during the second round of the Shell Houston Open. Kang, who's won once on the European Tour but not yet on the PGA Tour, had 7 birdies and an eagle en route to a 9-under 63. Good enough for a 6-shot lead over Hudson Swafford and Russell Henley.
Putted really good today. And then plus I teed off the first off, and then greens are just pure. Nobody really got on the green, so putted really good. Just keep making the putts, and then just happen and happen and happen. So it was a fun day.
Phil Mickelson is still alive for the weekend, but just barely. Phil is at even par for the tournament, and the cut is at even par. Mickelson's got a lot of work ahead of him since he's 16 shots back.
Much like when I won it in 2011, I ended up coming out from way back and shot 9 under. That's the goal tomorrow. I've got to go out and shoot 9, 10 under par to try to get back in it. I love playing here. I mean, I think it's a fun golf course. It doesn't have rough. I like that. I really enjoy the setup here.
Former University of Houston golfer Wes McClain is in his first ever PGA event, and like Phil, also at even par and still alive for the weekend. Among the golfers who didn't make the cut, Dallas's Jordan Spieth, who shot 77 today, missed the cut by 2 shots.
I felt like I was hitting it very well to start the day. Everything seemed fine, and then I just kind of made a mistake on 3 with my first putt, and it just kind of all tumbled down from there.
As we reported first today on Twitter and on our website, fox26houston.com, former UH star Case Keenum, the one-time Texans quarterback, is signing with the Minnesota Vikings. Keenum, who had a record-setting career with the Cougars, was with the Texans from 2012 to 2014, spent the past 2 seasons with the Rams, playing in 10 games last season, starting 9. Now he's joining the Vikings. Rockets and Golden State just underway in the Bay Area. Isaiah, back to you.
All right. Thanks a lot, Mark Berman. We'll see you back in about 2 weeks. Now it's time to talk politics here on The Factor Uncensored. Now, there is a U.S. congressman who is from Texas, and he says he is running against U.S. Senator Ted Cruz. That's Beto O'Rourke. Does he have a chance? Will he be able to take on Ted Cruz as a U.S. Senator and have a possible chance?
I think it's possible. I mean, he's beat out 2 incumbents in the past in races that they said were impossible to win. He won. But more importantly, he's got all the right sound bites regarding the anti-Trump majority that's out there. And so, you know, by contrast, Cruz continues to align himself with President Trump. So a vote for Cruz is going to be a vote for Trump. So depending on where we are with Trump by the time we get to this election, I think it's possible that O'Rourke could come in there, even though we've never had anybody from El Paso take any statewide race in Texas.
And the truth is, we haven't had, since the 90s, any Democrat win a statewide race here in Texas. Is that possible, Charles Adams?
No, this isn't news. The only reason this is news is because the mainstream media likes to beat up on Ted Cruz. Calling Ted Cruz a surrogate of Trump is absurd. He took Trump to task. He should be the president now. The reality is that the Democratic National Party is not going to get behind Beto O'Rourke. No one's going to get behind Beto. He's a handsome guy. We're the same age. He looks 10 years younger. He's well educated, but he doesn't have a chance. There's no reason. It's only news because the mainstream media wants another shot at bashing on Cruz. Make no mistake, Cruz will be our senator until he decides to stop running.
Now, also making news this week, Michael Flynn, the former U.S. security advisor for Donald Trump's administration, says he wants a deal. He will testify. He will talk. The president tweeted out saying the only reason why he wants immunity in this case is because it's a witch hunt by the Democrats and by mainstream media. Your thoughts on that, Carmen Rowe?
First, I think people need to understand that he has the right to assert his Fifth Amendment privilege not to testify, because making material misstatements to federal agents by way of example is a crime.
Yeah.
So he wants to protect himself. He asserts his Fifth Amendment privilege. The government is going to give him immunity and say, we won't charge you with any crimes for the things you've done in the past if you come forward and tell us the truth now. And so it's a situation where that's what he needs to do. No one should go to the federal government and make statements, particularly when we know he's made misstatements in the past, statements that are false. They can charge him. He needs to have the immunity. Trump needs to stop commenting on it. And more importantly, what we're going to look into as they investigate is whether or not he's the target. If he's the target, they're not going to give him immunity. They're going to charge him, and he's going to be the scapegoat in this. If he's not, they're going to give him the immunity, and he's going to tell us what's going on with Russia.
Charles Adams, attorney and talk show host?
Well, I mean, clearly it's not him asking for the immunity, it's his attorney, and it's a smart move. We're both criminal defense attorneys. That's a smart move on Flynn's attorney's part.
But he's advocating for his client, though, right?
And karma has bit him on the butt because Flynn 6 months ago said, if you ask for immunity, you must be guilty. But the reality is it's not just the left and the mainstream media, it's also the right. Trump is not their guy anywhere, anyone's guy, and it is a witch hunt. Okay, it's not Russia. Russia's not why Hillary lost. Hillary didn't appeal to the middle class, working class Americans in the swing state because he couldn't even be bothered to pander to them. And all this Russia nonsense is just the left trying to find an excuse while they double down on the demagoguery that cost them the election when they need to be focused on fixing their shit. We need to get past this Russian nonsense and give Trump a chance to lead. He's probably not going to do a good job, but let's give him a chance to do that bad job.
And you did say ship with a P at the end.
Yeah. Come on, Isaiah.
I hear what I want to hear.
You know, I'm not going to do anything to get kicked. I love coming on this show with you. It's an honor to be here. I only curse when I'm off the camera.
Really quick now, North Carolina governor signed the bill that would roll back the bathroom bill. Is it enough? Will it satisfy the LGBT community around the country?
Well, there already has been backlash because essentially, in addition to saying, okay, we're going to go back to normal with our bathroom, no more policy in place, they also said, but don't think for a second you can make any laws to protect the LGBT community.
For 3 years.
For 3 years. And that's a problem. And so there's a lot of people that are upset about it, as they should be.
Last 30 seconds.
You know, I'm a huge advocate for legalization of gay marriage. I do think that the trans community has gone off the rails. They want to find oppression at every... I mean, they came out against Wendy Williams this week because she threw someone off her show in 2009. I think North Carolina is trying to make an effort, and I think they're spitting in their eye when they say, oh, that's not enough. I think we need to get back to middle ground in America, and we're being defined by the polls, by the ideologues.
Charles Adams, Carmen Rowe, thank you guys. We'll be back with more Isaiah Factor Uncensored with a live performance from Alias and DJ Paul. Stay with us.
It's got a lot of power. It makes me feel like and when you smile for the camera, I know I love you better.
We're expecting some tough weather this Sunday, so be prepared for that. In the meantime, we want to thank DJ Paul for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored. DJ Paul, you have a lot going on in the community. Tell us a little bit about some of those shows that you have and appearances here in the community.
Show Off Custom Truck and Car Show, June 2nd to 4th. We're going to be live at Brazoria County, the fairgrounds as well. Number 2, the Tex Fest, it's another auto truck show, car show, cook-off actually, from July 2nd through the 9th, but the actual days will be 7th through 9th. And then as well as every Thursday, I'm at Wings Pizza and Things on 249. If anybody needs any more info, they can just
I had some of those
us.
pizza,
oh,
some
man.
of that
oh,
pizza
yeah. The
and wings there yesterday.
Man.
All right,
They're
thanks
awesome.
a lot, DJ Paul, for joining us. Now we have
sir.
with us Alias, a.k.a. Mr. Whatever, performing here live on The Factor Uncensored. Take it away.
All right. How y'all doing tonight, man? One time for your mind, sound, science, space, time, you heard me? Alias, a.k.a. Mr. Whatever. Keep it kicking like. We're going to start off the after party for y'all tonight, Boudreaux on Isaiah Factor. Thank you very much. You know, catch me on Instagram at Alias is Music. And y'all can find the link there to give y'all everything y'all need to know about the resume. You know, so it goes down one time. Hey, shout out K's and Low. Let's go. Hey, clean in the stand, can't lie. I'ma keep spitting this fire. Tell me, do you really wanna ride? Cause we keep kicking like yeah. Hey, clean in the stand, can't lie. I'ma keep spitting this fire. Tell me, do you really wanna ride? Cause we keep kicking like yeah, 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 yeah. We keep kicking like we keep kicking like yeah, 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 yeah. We keep kicking like we keep kicking like yeah, 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 yeah. We keep kicking like we keep kicking like yeah, 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 yeah. We keep kicking like we keep kicking like. You know we keep kicking like Tybo. Now is the time. What you looking at your watch for? Our future is the present. Gonna let the clock go. Hit this. Watch out of time. Slow. It's late. We gonna let it rock though. Heading to the top though. Tell me is you with it? Girl, let's get it. Friend come too. Big body fit 'em. Say I'm a dog, but you got a back like a donkey. So bend that over and break your butt off. No judgment given as long as you honest, and honestly, I'm trying to get it, girl. I just be kidding that you was feeling that way. Did you serious? About it, let's go. She say I got the glow. Say I can tell I'm shining. I told her, don't tell me I know. Whoa, girl, don't blind yourself. Cause if you look too deep, might find yourself. Elevate your mind, help you find stealth. Elevate your mind, help you find stealth. Like, ooh, too fly. And them haters watching like eagle eye. And the whole team in this thing straight beast. Then pull up fresh and then we jump out. Hey, clean this thing, can't lie. Hey, I'ma keep spitting this fire. Tell me, do you really wanna ride? Cause we keep kicking like yeah. Clean this thing, can't lie. Hey, I'ma keep spitting this fire. Tell me, do you really wanna ride?
This newscast brought to you by Carpet Giant.
We keep kicking like we keep kicking like yeah. We keep kicking like we keep kicking like